Hello everyone! We continue our educational videos on drawing different parts of the face, and today it's time to talk about how to draw a nose. In this video, I'll provide you with some theoretical information, show 2 ways to construct a nose, and create a detailed drawing with explanations. Overall, as always, it'll be engaging and informative. Let's dive in. To learn how to draw a nose, understanding its overall shape is crucial, along with having a rough idea of its anatomical structure. Let's start with the general shape of the nose. This is essential for visualizing how light and shadow will distribute in the drawing. I've already sketched out a basic outline. At the top is the front view of the nose, a slightly raised perspective, then a lower angle, and a side view depicted a bit below. What can we observe here? Primarily that the nose isn't flat. It prominently protrudes from the face's surface. Viewing from the front, we notice several main surfaces, the front 2 sides and the lower parts. In essence, its shape resembles a torpedo or a prism. This simplified outline is not just for understanding light and shadow distribution. It serves as a basis for a more detailed drawing, which I'll demonstrate in the nose's detailed sketch. But to render details, understanding the external structure of the nose is necessary. And now, let's briefly dissect it using this outline. At the very top is the bridge, the narrowest part when viewed straight on. Below that is the nasal arch, and further down, the tip. At the very bottom lies the nasal septum, flanked by the nostrils and the wings of the nose. These are the primary components, sufficient for creating a good drawing. As an addition, take a look at how it appears in a real photo. Now let's move on to the detailed drawing. I'll show you 2 ways to draw a nose, one with a detailed construction and the other simplified. For those more experienced with a good eye, let's begin. I'll start with the first method, from which I'll create a detailed drawing, similar to the one shown at the video's start. Before we begin, a tip for those using this section as a tutorial. I suggest watching the entire drawing process first, then return to this point to start your own drawing. So, for the drawing, I've chosen what seems to be the simplest and most commonly encountered angle in portrait drawing, a frontal or slightly angled view of the nose. This left-hand diagram will serve as the foundation for outlining. First, we need to mark 2 lines, a horizontal one indicating the approximate width of the nose and a vertical line indicating its length. Look. This horizontal line is approximately where the nostrils start at the top. Now we need another horizontal line where the nose is the narrowest, at the bridge. Then, at the bottom, we mark where the tip and wings of the nose intersect. From the bridge at the top, and now, from this diagram, we need to obtain this. I'm just connecting all the dots. When you draw these lines, avoid making them too bold. I've intentionally made them darker for better visibility in the video, and this forms the basis for further construction. From here, I'll work on a more detailed drawing. The most challenging part will be drawing the lower section of the nose because there are many intricate details. First, I'll draw the tip, then the nostrils and wings of the nose, and I'll roughly outline the nasal bridge. If you feel confident about the form, you can erase some lines, but if not, it's better to leave them. Otherwise, the essence of this detailed construction might be lost. Generally, many lines like these will be shaded and blended. They won't be visible afterward, unless of course you've drawn them very boldly. Now I'll add light and shadow. Tone and shading will give depth and life to this flat drawing, as I've mentioned before. So, showing light and shadow correctly is crucial. There's a separate video on the channel explaining this in detail. But let's start outlining the tone. In this specific case, the light will fall directly and slightly from above. The darkest areas here will be the nostrils. They're usually the darkest, and this entire lower section. For better understanding, you have this diagram, which serves this purpose, and I proceed with hatching. First, I shade the nostrils. Notice that the darkest part is at the top, and at the bottom, there's a smooth transition from the darkest to a lighter shade. One of the most common mistakes is shading these areas as a solid black spot. Another mistake is shading the areas where the nose's wings cast a shadow as solid black lines. In reality, there's also a smooth transition here, which it's desirable to depict. So I've shaded the nostrils, and now, in general, I begin to outline the main shadows, the darkest areas in the drawing. I continue to shade, striving to hatch along the form. For instance, I use diagonal lines for the sides and rounder strokes for specific areas. If, like me, you're drawing separately but want to show the surroundings, what's around the nose is preferable. When I was sketching the base, I didn't draw clear lines on the sides, because typically, in this nose view, the side surfaces blend smoothly into the cheeks. Another crucial aspect of drawing the nose, or rather its surroundings, is that between the lips, approximately in this area, and the nose, there's a small elevation with a dimple inside. This is the so-called philtrum. It needs to be depicted too. So, I start drawing the surroundings, and the first thing I'll outline is the philtrum, portraying it very lightly for smooth transitions between shadows. I begin drawing the next element of the surroundings, the cast shadows from the nose's wings. I've previously discussed how to draw these. Apart from the surroundings, at this stage, I gradually darken the areas where I marked shadows earlier to build up tones in the drawing. So, I've laid down the tone. Now, I'm looking at the drawing as a whole and seeing where I need to add shadows or make any adjustments. Overall, this drawing currently lacks contrast, and that's what I'm addressing now. We're in the final stage of work. At this point, I intensify the shadow colors. This enhances contrast and brightness, allowing midtones and highlights to stand out, giving the drawing a livelier appearance. You can observe all this on your screens. To smooth color transitions and strokes, you can use a blending tool. For this purpose, I use a clean stump. The most important rule here is moderation. If you want to add highlights or lighten the front of the nose, you can use a kneaded eraser. For these purposes, I use a kneaded eraser. By the way, a complete list of materials used for this drawing is provided in the video description. Now, as promised, I'll show another construction method, a more simplified one. To draw this, one needs to understand how the lines form the contour of this drawing. You currently see these lines on your screens. 2 side lines of the nose's wings, 2 lines of the bridge, and the lines at the bottom. Similar to the construction of this drawing, we mark a vertical line. 2 horizontal ones, and sketch the contour lines by eye. I'll outline them for better visibility. Generally, I'm using these extremely simplified constructions at the moment, practically in all my drawings, because over time, I've developed a good eye and sense of form. However, for beginners, I'd recommend starting with more complex variations. For instance, you can try the academic method of nose construction. It's more detailed and anatomically accurate than this one. If you're interested, the internet can help. I also want to mention there are other perspectives for drawing a nose. Often, it's depicted in a view slightly from above, approximately as shown in this diagram. It differs from this view in that the nostrils won't be visible, and the nose's wings will be slightly higher than the tip, much like in the drawing you're currently seeing. Another popular option is the 3/4 view, a slight angle. I won't detail how to draw the nose in this case right now. Essentially, it's the same as here. You can take a specific photograph, construct it, and draw a nose of this type. Apart from various perspectives, everyone's nose shapes differ slightly. Some are blessed with a neat, beautiful nose, while others have a different kind. Despite this, the nose's structure remains the same for everyone. The key is knowing the general principles. And that's all from me. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel, let's learn together. I wish you all success and luck, and until our next meeting on the channel, bye for now.